Good evening. It's just gone 2 minutes past 7 on Tuesday, so you all know what that means. Bill, it's the Tuesday ticket, and we're
Indeed
missing
it
you
is.
again.
I know he's not here yet. He's going to do
He'll
his
turn up.
usual rock star entrance, I think, because he was away to the cinema for a 4:30 start, so he should make it. But he's got the link anyway, so if he joins us, he joins. He always like if the regular viewers know, he'll just come in here and just show up when he feels like it, because he's the boss. He is the face that runs the place.
That's it. Just
Yes.
hits his entrance music, and he comes.
Mm-hmm.
Just Regan. He does what he wants. He does what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Regan Stevenson. He does what he wants. Right. Anyway, welcome. Welcome to the Tuesday Ticket. This is the place where we do all the news, the gossip, the hearsay surrounding Glasgow Celtic and Phil. It is the last week of the transfer window, so of course we've got plenty of news, gossip, and hearsay to talk about. It's been quite an exciting couple of days,
Yep.
but
It's going to be a busy one. I've got a funny feeling there's a lot to
oh
talk
yeah,
about.
get your yellow tie out for Friday, mate.
I will. I probably will.
Get your
By
yellow tie
I
out for
did it
Friday.
last year. I'll do it again this year.
That's it, mate. I've lost mine. It wasn't even mine. I borrowed it off Cola, my barber Cola, and she's like, "Can I get my tie back?" I'm like, "I don't know where it is. Gone." We never signed anybody, so I just went in a rage. I think I binned it.
No.
No.
No, wait, we did. Paolo Bernardo was announced that night, although it was well known that he was probably
Yeah, it didn't count.
signed a few days. We knew he was coming.
Yeah. But before we do that, give us a like, give us a share, slag the hair, become a Boys Plus member for a small cost of $1.99. It is totally optional. All our content is free. It's just a little choice that you can make if you want to support the bus. In that way, we appreciate it whether you do or whether you don't. What else? Yeah, hit that wee bell, subscribe button. You'll see when the bus is on its way. And big shout out to piesports.com for all your tasty pasty treats. You'll get 12.5% off at the checkout with the discount code BUS1888. Right. That's it. That's it all. Done. Let's get into it because we've got a lot to talk about. Make sure you get all your comments in the chat. I want to see all your opinions. I want you to disagree with me. I want you to agree with me. I want you to give me abuse. I want you to not give me abuse. That'd be lovely. But Phil, let's start talking about Celtic's potential loan signing of Barcelona starlet Alex Valle, the 20-year-old, will arrive as a defensive cover. I don't like that. I don't like that right off the bat. I don't like that term. Let's not pigeonhole him into defensive cover, but that's what the article says. For the left back position, and the Spanish youngster will compete with Greg Taylor in that role. As reported by Fabrizio Romano, Mr. Here We Go himself, Valle has agreed a new 2-year contract with Barcelona before a deal was sorted to bring the fullback to Celtic. The player spent last season on loan with Levante in the Spanish second division and will look to impress with the Scottish champions. The left back role was one that Brendan wanted to strengthen in, and if this deal gets over the line, attention will turn to improving other areas. The manager will want to add a striker, a winger, 2 centre midfielders, and a left-sided central defender before the window shuts. Phil, apparently he's had a medical in the last day or two. Must be the longest medical of all time. But he's young. He's a young whippersnapper. I'm sure he'll pass it with flying colours. How do you feel about this, Alex? Are you excited by it? Does it dampen the spirits? It's only a loan signing with no option to buy. There is a low buyout clause being inserted into his new contract, but we'll get onto that in a minute. How are you feeling about it? You excited? Is he going to take Greg Taylor's jersey right away?
Well, right away, same as you also highlighted the word cover right then and there, because I'm happy to see a left back coming in first and foremost, because we are in a very, very precarious position out there with only Greg Taylor available. Gets injured or suspended. What do we do? Bernabei was deemed not good enough and is still, I think, in Brazil on a loan deal. So we definitely needed a left back. So first and foremost, it would be encouraging to actually have somebody as an option. But yeah, it would be a complete waste of the boys' time and our time if he comes here for a year and literally sits on the bench for the entire time. I would like to think with what he's already done, we playing pretty consistently in La Liga last season for Levante, as you say, he's probably good enough to get quite a fair stretch of games this season. We want to see what he's all about. It's no good just signing the boy and he just sits there. So, yeah, I'd like to think that he could come in. I expect right away, yes, Greg Taylor will still hold that jersey. Because here's the thing, and Liam Greenlaw, please forgive me for what I'm about to say, Greg Taylor hasn't been bad this season. He's not. He's actually been all right. He seems to be playing a bit more inverted, like he used to do under Ange, when he was actually not too bad. Yes, there are still deficiencies there. Yes, him and Liam Scales do like to stat pad with their passing to each other, getting that percentage up. I know people do like to get the wee clicker out and count how many passes Taylor and Scales have completed, and that's usually how they get such a high success passing back. So there is that with Taylor, where he's a bit unadventurous going forward sometimes. But in terms of his consistency so far this season, he's not actually been terrible. And maybe it's also because he knows there's a good chance that competition is coming, and maybe he is, upping the game a wee bit here. It will be his jersey to lose, and it'll be Valley or Value, however it's pronounced. Alex, we'll just call him Alex, right? Alex is
we Alex.
Yeah.
Alex. What a guy.
To win. And yeah, I'd like to see that, if he comes in, does a decent job, and we can see there's something there. The fact that next summer he's available for 2.5-3 million, it's worth pursuing. Obviously, because we don't have first option on him. It's open season. If the boy comes here and does well, and other clubs pick up on that, then we might have a bidding war on our hands. But I'd say first and foremost, at least for actually getting or looking at getting a left back in. I say it tentatively because he hasn't officially done yet. And we know with Celtic, the transfers, you always need to wait till they're standing at the stadium with the flag above the scarf above their head. But it's looking like that one is happening. There's some motion there. So the very fact that we're getting a left back in makes me feel a bit better about the situation in that part of the pitch, because I say if Taylor gets injured long term, then we are absolutely in the mud in that position. Shuggy, there you go.
That's absolutely buckled me, man. That's funny as fuck. Shuggy. Right, that's it. He's now known as Shuggy on the bus, Brian. Well, Shuggy played 29 games for Levante last season, so he got plenty of games under his belt at a good level. I don't think there's any coincidence that Greg Taylor's up his level has went up a gear since knowing that there just might be a legitimate threat to his jersey. I mean, competition breeds that sort of level of quality of players. Right? If there's no competition, that just breeds complacency. He knows nobody's taking his jersey. We literally sent Packin, the only other left back at the club, and just thought, Greg, you'll be fine on your own, mate. Like, if there's nobody there to take your jersey, you can understand maybe why. No, to be fair, I've I say butted heads with Liam about it, but like I've pushed back on Liam's stern approach of his opinions on Greg Taylor on the Friday feeling when I've been on it. I've made no secret. I think he's been a good servant of the club. I don't think anyone could disagree on that. Like, can we do better than Greg Taylor? Yeah, of course we could do better. Yeah, of course we could. But he's certainly picked up another level since this season started, because I think he's known fine well. He legitimately has somebody coming in that could very well take his place, or he could just be putting himself in the shop window because he's going to move on at the end of the window, and maybe that could also be a reason as to why. David, watch the Celtic game again from Sunday. Taylor was awful. All right, fair enough. I'll go and do that.
Well, 1888 CFC's also came in and says Greg Taylor is leaving and says, not anything the new deal yet. Do we usually let players get to this point, like first team players with what's left in their deal? It's a bit rare that this happens for us. So it could be. And I mean, the boy has achieved a lot at Celtic. What more does he have to achieve? And we've heard Matt Riley through the week with his Brighton interview, and I know it was hard for many of us to watch, but he did use the words, it was time for a new challenge. Sometimes Celtic can maybe be victims of their own success. We've got to remember, with what these players have won, it's like, what more do I have to achieve? It's been well publicised. Greg Taylor didn't grow up a Celtic fan. He didn't. So many fans were not too happy when he initially signed because of his background. Although I think he's endeared himself very, very well. The way that's not been a factor at all. But ultimately, he didn't grow up a Celtic fan. He's won a hell of a lot of trophies. He's proved a lot of people wrong, and he's probably aware of the sort of opinion of him, because I know that I'm pretty sure on like the 20-minute Tims for a long time, they were always egging him on to open up his comments on his Instagram page, because he would always post things on Insta without the comments on, because I think he knew he was going to get abused. But there was that season, the second season under Ange, where he was brilliant. And then they were always egging him on, get your comments open, Greg, so we can leave positive messages. So I think he's aware that there is an undercurrent out there, led by Liam Greenlaw, that don't take to him pretty well. But maybe he is just generally like, maybe I'm looking for a new challenge at the end of the season.
I think it's, you know, like if he goes, then yeah, fair enough. Like you said, he's won everything he's going to win at Celtic, and I mean, how old is he now? What, 27, 28?
Yeah, mid-20s somewhere. Yeah,
yeah. He maybe feels he can. I mean, I don't think he's a Premier League player, but I think he could maybe go and get a bit of coin down in the Championship and play for a team down there. Who knows? If he does decide to go, but then again, if he does go, we need more than one left back in. Certainly more than one that's just on loan. So if this Valley does have a good season with us, we have to make sure that he falls in love with the club while he's here. That enough that would be the next step in progression for his career. But I mean, from what I'd seen, Phil, that a lot of the Barcelona fans were disappointed to see him not be given the opportunity to try and fight for his place in that Barcelona side. I couldn't tell you off the top of the head who their starting left back is.
Alex Balde. Is it Alejandro Balde?
Yeah, that's right.
Another Alex. There you go.
He's only 21, 22 as well. So, and I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. So, I mean, that's the difficult one to obviously compete with. But this boy's come through the academy as well, and maybe Barca. I've seen that Celtic's a great place for him to go and play his trade. I mean, there was talk on line that apparently Brendan had a big say, was a big factor into making the decision to come to Celtic. He showed him his Gucci belt and spoke fluent Spanish to him. And
well, he did. According to there was a podcast out years ago. One of the players that was at Reading said that one day he came into a meeting at training and just spoke in Spanish, and not one of the Reading players actually spoke Spanish, and didn't acknowledge why he did it. He just came in, he did a bit of the speech in Spanish, then left the room, and they were all sitting there like, what? What
no
guy?
No comprende, senor.
Exactly. So he does speak Spanish, there you go. So we know that he was able to communicate with him. And also just something that came here from Stephen Ray. He's always good with the info. Owen Beck has joined Blackburn on loan, so there'll be no more Owen Beck links to Celtic for the next few days. That one is DOA. That one's done.
That's fine. That's fine with me. Like, yeah, I mean, I'd heard that he'd done well at Dundee, but it's not what that wasn't getting me excited at all. But then again, I'm not going to then sit and say, well, this young Spanish guy's getting me super excited. What's the difference? Liverpool, Barcelona, they're both young, they're both, but we shall see. We'll see. I'm not doing backflips over this boy, but I'm hoping that he's going to come in and impress, and he's got the right pedigree coming from that academy. There's not many better academies in world football, is there really? So we shall see. There's all this talk that it's a stopgap for Kieran Tierney coming back as well. We can discuss that while it's on the agenda. Kieran Tierney to Celtic. I mean, there's talk that Arsenal are going to wrap up his contract, I think. What does that say about Kieran Tierney that they're going to wrap up his contract? Does that concern you? Does that just are they just kind of like, look, we don't really need you, like, and maybe he said, look, just let me go, I want to go back to Celtic. Is it the right move for the player, and more importantly, is it the right move for the club to go back in for a Kieran Tierney who has, let's be honest, struggled for game time, not through any fault of his own, other than, and certainly nothing to do with his ability, I don't think. But his obviously ongoing injury problems.
Yeah, it's just that's what it's come down to, really. He is too injury prone. We know how good a player he is. Arsenal know how good a player he is, because obviously they spent the money on him. And obviously it was actually Unai Emery that signed him. Then Mikel Arteta took over like midway through that season, and ever since then, Arteta used him initially at first because they didn't have any choice. Once Zinchenko came in, he was pretty much playing second fiddle after that. Spent last season on loan. He's no good to Arsenal, injury prone. the way he is. But say we know how exceptional a player he is. But yeah, I think it's after what happened at the Euros there, that game against Switzerland, he got injured, wasn't it? It was a Switzerland game. I thought you're looking at the way he went down. I was like, he's out till at least Christmas. The fact that it seems to be available anyway. But that was a shocker, that one during the Euros, that injury. So I feel like it's going to take him out for quite a while, that one. And it's unfortunate. But remember when he left, he did that podcast on Open Goal where he spoke with Cy Ferry and his band of merry men. It was more a case of Slaney and that all shouting over each other as usual. But in amongst there, he did admit to, in the last year or so at Celtic, he was pretty much having to take painkilling injections to get through games and kind of being forced to do it because he was such a quality player. How much a knock-on effect that's had on his career, it could very well be the case. I mean, I would love it if we could make it work and we know that he would be fit. My God, there's your left back till probably the end of his career. He'd probably come back up here and stay till he would be a future Celtic captain, in fact. He would be, till 36, 37, he'd probably stick around. But we can't guarantee his fitness. And yeah, it's unfortunate. I think he's still got something to offer, though. I think if he can stay fit, I think he can still play at the Premier League level, no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. I think when both are fully fit, it's not even a bias thing, just because it's Tierney, because Andy Robertson's a Celtic fan as well. But I do think Tierney, if both of them are fully fit, I think Tierney's better than Robertson. But he never get a chance to show it because he's always injured. That's the problem. But yeah, I do think he has got something to offer. So even surprised Unai Emery didn't come looking for him, being at Aston Villa and being the guy that signed him at Arsenal. Clearly, Emery's a fan, but I think he could still cut it. Even a lower down team in the English Premier League, like say, I don't know, Brentford or something, Bournemouth, one of these teams who are just kind of mid-table, sort of, they always stay up. I've seen he could probably cut it at that level still, but it's not going to be our problem. I don't think it's going to happen. So it'd be amazing if it did and he was fully fit, but the reality is it's not, because we know how sadly injury prone he is.
Yeah, I mean, you could have. I've probably said I could bet my house on him not managing to play 3 games in a row for Scotland because just how close the games were. His body just isn't able to cope with it. But I mean, listen, you could bring him in and be able to, if he was managed correctly in terms of rest time between games. I don't see. I mean, and then you've got the likes of Greg Taylor as a perfectly good deputy. I wouldn't be against Kieran Tierney coming back, but in reality, I just don't know if it's the best move long term for Celtic. But here, that's neither here nor there, Phil, because he's not here yet. So we shall move on. A player that could be here, though, Phil, a player that could be here before the end of the window shuts is Arne Engels. Celtic are preparing to launch a second bid. Apparently, they already have, since I stole this article online. They've come up with a bigger number and a bid to test Osberg's resolve. 9 million is apparently the latest bid. We did have a 6.5 million bid toughed out. Great choice of words by this person that wrote the article. Toughed out. Let's just get straight into Phil. I mean, really, Celtic, they've pretty much made it clear they don't want to get rid of the player, and if they do, they're going to have to be in the region of £8 to £9 million or euros. And I get it. I know how this all works. You always go in a wee bit lower to get the ball rolling, but I mean, let's no fuck about. I mean, if you're going to go straight back in at 9 million, like I don't know, like 6.5 million just seems a bit cheeky, eh? Like, let's not waste anybody's time. Like, you're just wasting time with that offer. If you maybe go in at maybe, I don't know, even 7.5 million just to get the ball rolling, they might take that, I think. But when you go, I just think 6.5 just comes across quite cheeky, especially when they've sat there and went, well, you just got 30 million for Matt O'Reilly, who who you had been allowing to have talks with Brighton for nearly 2 months. It's been transpired straight from the horse's mouth in his interview with Brighton, Brighton's media team. Why have we waited this long to finally put in an offer, not only an offer, but a fucking cheeky offer at 6.5 million. Like, come on, Celtic. Like, come on, man. I mean, let's hope this one gets done. I mean, Phil, I want this to get done because apparently this boy's a player. And if I'm being honest, who's seen this boy play? I've never watched this boy play. I mean, I don't know why he's suddenly got this amazing reputation as like a £9 million player, but I'm absolutely all for it. Like, just because I've been told by somebody that this boy's an absolute baller of no evidence whatsoever. I'm like, yeah, just get it done. But how are you feeling about the possibility of this 20-year-old Belgian coming in the door at a £9 million price tag?
I think the optics of it all is exactly what you want to hear. I've left it quite late in the window, to be fair. This is the type of deal we should have been doing, midway through the window. It's not a case of we had to wait for the Matt O'Reilly money to come in, because, again, we were shouting it from the rooftops, a big neon sign above Celtic Park that we are rich, telling everybody quite happily we've got lots of money. So it's a bit weird that we've kind of waited till now to actually make some kind of move, and, as you say, quite a cheeky move, to be honest. It's but hey, I'll be even surprised at this point. The biscuit tin doesn't open too far. There must be like hinges on it that only open so much. Can't get properly into it. I mean, I want it to happen as well. I'm just like you. I have no idea who he is. Even you and I, the couple of FIFA players that I don't even know who he is, and that's usually when I hadn't even heard him. Not even seen him come out of a pack in Ultimate Team, so I don't even know who he is. But again, just the optics of it excites me, because it's like, oh, paying quite a lot of money here. Now, I know that a lot of money doesn't always equate to a great player, but again, the profile of it, we're buying guys that are that age. It's usually like a wee 1 million, 2 million, a project player. But this guy with paying that much money, it does make you think, okay, this guy's got something. This guy's got something special here. And yeah, but again, it should have been done weeks ago before Matt O'Reilly left the building. What happened through last week on Friday, if you look at the chain of events, is Brendan Rodgers spoke to Sky Sports at Lennoxtown, spoke with I think it was Keith Downey or Luke Shan, whichever reporter it was, and he was put on the spot and asked then there about, preparing for the game at the weekend against St Mirren, the squad ready. Asked about the squad, he said, well, as far as I know, everyone's here, they'll be available. It made Brendan Rodgers look foolish that at the drop of a hat within a matter of hours, how quickly that all turned around. By the time I came on Friday night to do my episode of the Friday Feeling, the whole narrative had changed, because a few hours before, Brendan was given it, no bids have been received for Matt O'Reilly, everyone's available, I expect it to be in the squad on Sunday. So it just shows you how quickly, so the Celtic, should have always been prepared that this can happen at any point, rather than the whole... I don't know if Celtic had this attitude that nobody will meet our value for Matt O'Reilly. We'll still have him. I think it'd be a bit naive, because it'd be stupid for Celtic to have gone into this window thinking, we'll be fine. Nobody will stump up the money for Matt O'Reilly, given the amount of money that's down south especially. So they've kind of been caught with their pants down a wee bit. They say when Brendan Rodgers said that last Friday, it makes me think that the club was still very much under the opinion, we won't lose O'Reilly, it'll be fine. So now they're having to scramble around. It's crazy. They should have definitely been getting a replacement in the door beforehand, because the issue is, I think Engels will happen.
I think it'll happen too.
But the problem you've got is he going to be in the squad on Sunday? Would you throw him in on Sunday? Has he been playing for Augsburg? Has he done a full pre-season? Did he start their games in the Bundesliga this season? I mean, Adam Ida has looked kind of off it in terms of pace and fitness right now, because, he's rusty, yeah. Is Engels going to be the same? What do we do on Sunday? Do you throw them in? I say players have made their debut against Rangers. They have made it, and it came through it pretty well. It's not outside the realms of possibility, but I say ideally you want all these players bedded in well in time to just be just ticking over like a well-oiled machine as the season kicks off. But staring down the barrel here, David, of potentially could get maybe like 4 players in between now and Friday, and how long before we see them coming into the first team, because they're going to have to get up to speed, I would imagine. But hopefully all these boys have had a full pre-season with their clubs and have played enough football to just, as soon as we're back for the international break, they're in and around the first team squad. There you go. Engels
played one game this season so far, so he's obviously.
So at least he's played a game. He's played a competitive game, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
But like going
encouraging.
back to what I mean, everyone's saying like it's gross incompetence. The board could have had a couple of deals done ages ago. I mean,
Mm.
I disagree. For I think the board have known fine well that Matt O'Reilly was going to leave. I think they knew. I don't think there was any point where they were like, "Oh, we might just keep a hold of him. We might be able to keep a hold of him." If he's been talking to Brighton for 2 months, knocking back, and like clearly the price is getting knocked back from Atlantis because Matt O'Reilly's wanted to go to Brighton.
Mm.
Clearly, so for me, the club knew he wanted to leave. Brendan knew he's wanted to leave. Matt knew he wanted to leave. He's probably never made it public, but he's maybe
Mm.
probably spoke in house and was like, "Look, I'm not going to win anything else here. I'm ready to move up another level. I mean, as soon as my arse touches a seat at Brighton, I'm getting a call up for Denmark. Read into that what you will. But at no point, and I think most people in the chat will have been in this same situation that when they've maybe wanted to buy something, and it's like, I want to buy that, but I know I've got the money sitting there, but it's a wee bit more than I was hoping. But I know that I'm going to get money in next week on payday, or I'm selling something online on Facebook Marketplace or Vinted or wherever you sell stuff. Well, once that sells, I know I'm going to recoup that money back. So if I dip into my savings now, and then I'll just put it back when I get that money. That surely, like, why can't Celtic just operate in that sort of sense? They know, well, we're going to get 30 million for Matt. We're going to get it. So let's just try and get Engels in, and we'll try and get the other boys in. Now, we've got money sitting in reserves. We'll use that money for now, and we'll top it back up when Matt O'Reilly leaves. I mean, it's not that fucking complicated. Like, yes, I've dimmed it right down into flogging shit on Marketplace on Facebook, but it's the same principle. Like, it's the same fucking idea. You know what I mean? So, but of course, we've all just to calm down.
Calm down,
Just calm
exactly.
down.
Yeah.
I want that on. That'll be what Celtic are flogging next on their fucking
Oh
in the Celtic store.
no.
Just calm down written across
Calm
the.
down on a t-shirt. Yep.
I'm doing a t-shirt. Get that in the fucking superstore.
I mean, it was the video itself is. I'm not surprised. I'm genuinely. I know a lot of fans are saying, it was poor behaviour for the fan and whatnot. I also think it's a bit naive though from Peter Lawwell and his other board members to walk through the Celtic fans, and if they were thinking they weren't going to get something said to them, with what's going on right now. They'd be a bit naive in that case. Maybe the choice of language was a bit strong. Maybe he could have put it across in a more structured manner, shall we say. But yeah, the message would have been the same, really. And yeah, surely Peter Lawwell should have known that walking through the fans to get into the ground, there's a good chance somebody's going to say something here. But whether that has spurred him into action to actually break open the biscuit tin, then a positive result then. But again, it shouldn't have got to the last week for this to happen.
Mate, you preach to the choir here, eh? It's like we ken this. Everybody seems to know this, but the board. Stephen Kennedy says, "Calm down, Davy boy. You'll end up like Phil covered in grey hair as well." I mean,
well, I've got a message as well, and you'll know who this is.
I know.
Ian Fraser has just messaged me and said, "Tell David to stop swearing." So you know who that is. He's watching from afar as well right now. You know who Ian Fraser is. Says, "Stop swearing, mate."
I hope you're still watching, Ian. Fuck off. Right. Let's fucking calm down. Let's move on. Right. According to a report from Sky Sports, Celtic have made a formal bid to sign Los Angeles FC attacking midfielder Matthias Bogus.
I hope it's like Bogus or something, because I don't want to call him Bogus all season. It'd be a bit. That's a bit of a bad omen, isn't it? But Bogus. Yeah. Shug. We'll call him Shug.
Call him Shug or no?
We'll call him Shug or no. Aye.
The boys have been in discussion in recent weeks to sign the 23-year-old midfielder, but the MLS club wanted to wait until their League Cup final against Columbus Crew was out the way. Bogus impressed during the game as he provided an assist for Oliver Giroud's goal. Anthony Joseph says that negotiations are ongoing between the two clubs, and Celtic are determined to sign him before Friday's deadline. The Polish attacking midfielder has played in England before with Leeds United, but his stint at the club is far from successful. He has impressed heavily for the LAFC, managing 17 goals this season in all competitions, and he could be a fantastic signing for the boys. Um, yeah, I mean, I looked at his highlight reel, Phil, which everybody, like we always say, everybody looks great in the highlight reel.
Of course.
You don't show your bad bits in the highlight reel. That's counterproductive. Just in case you're ever thinking about putting a highlight reel together, don't use your bad bits.
Mm.
But all apparently bogus is fake news according to Pato.
Ow,
But
ow.
Pato,
Bogus is
well,
bogus according to him.
aye,
Who knows?
it's bogus news. For I am a bogus gas man here to ransack your house, brilliant. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's always the argument that the MLS, MLS is shite. Everybody, that's where Lewis Morgan's tearing up the MLS. Fuck hell, man, retirement league. But what I'll say about the MLS is like they don't like defending in that league. So I mean, I always take the amount of goals that they score with a pinch of salt. It's just like they're just all out attack in that league. But he does look an exciting player. I mean, their price tag's around about $6 to $8 million. Whatever, maybe a bit more than that. I don't know. What's your thoughts? I mean, it's worked for us in the past recently with Alistair Johnson. So there is talent. There is obviously talent in the MLS. I think it's quite a pretty good league now, to be fair. I mean, Lionel Messi, Suarez, all these guys are obviously turning up, but they are obviously in that retirement stage.
Yeah.
But I think there is some real talent in that league. I can't say I know much about his stint in Leeds, Phil. He seems to play more of a sort of centre forward, and winger than maybe a central midfielder, which is what he's apparently we'd be maybe looking to use him for. But could he be a versatile utility man? Remember when Hatate came in and he was named as a utility player? Could this be our new fancy utility toy coming in?
It's definitely something the team needs. You need these fluid options, guys that can fit into a few different positions. Because I was thinking myself, if we're going to flex the muscle here and sign Boguts and sign Engels, you're looking at best part of 15 plus million combined for the two of them. If these are the asking prices that we're looking at, that's a hell of a big outlay for Celtic. So it's like, right, well, where does Boguts fit in? Because McGregor's the captain, he's going to play. And you'd expect that Engels is going to be the replacement for O'Reilly. Hatate is obviously, on form when Hatate is, at his peak, he is unbelievable. He had a great end to last season. I think he's been playing well at the start of this season. He looks, despite all the talk a few weeks ago about Leicester of all teams trying to pick him up, no, he's still putting in a shift. So where would Boguts fit in? Because we only play three centre midfielders. Obviously, brought in Paulo Bernardo, who seems to looked really, sound at the weekend as well. But if he can play out wide and can maybe double up as a forward as well, then it's definitely something that we need. A guy that can fit in a few different positions. And the thing is, dynamics change in every game of football. Like actually, Brendan Rodgers has to switch things up during the game. And if he's got a guy there that can, move position, if he started out wide in a game or started in midfield, but he can go up front if somebody's going off injured or whatnot, then it's always advantageous to have these type of players. Again, I'm the same as you. I don't know much about him. In fact, he played for Leeds for a short spell. It didn't work out. It's just the way it is. But in typical Celtic fashion, though, we're talking about scrambling around. Only Celtic, again, at this stage of the window, could go in for a guy who was about to play in a major cup final for his club in that very same week. And it's like, God's sake, Celtic. It's like, of all the players to target, it's like, can't you just get somebody that's got a nice clear run at it? Instead of somebody like, we're going to go a wee cheeky bid for this guy, but he's got to play in a very vital game for his club this coming weekend, which obviously takes up more time because there's no way that they're going to deal right before this match. By the way, did they win? Do you know if LAFC won?
No, they lost 3-1.
There you go. He didn't make much difference.
To Columbus
there you go.
Yeah, I think he got hooked after like 60 minutes as well. I say hooked as if he was pish. He got an assist. I never saw the game. Maybe if he didn't play to his best of his abilities, maybe just the Celtic link was maybe playing on his mind a wee bit. We've seen it happen to our players that their minds maybe just not quite in it or fully focused on the task at hand when there's a far bigger club interested in signing your player.
There you
Yeah, he
go.
set up the goal. I think it was from a corner, and big handsome Giroud
Giroud
nodded at him.
playing out there as
Big
well. She's
Giroud,
all.
which said retirement league.
Could have signed for Celtic years ago, Olivier Giroud.
Yes,
He's at Montpellier. Yep. Could have been a
no, I
Celtic
can't
player.
remember what was the did he was there a reason as to why he wasn't something
I'd
happened?
imagine.
Was that
I'd imagine Arsenal probably. Well, no, in fact, I think it was a year later Arsenal came in and got him because Montpellier won the league in 2012, and he signed for Arsenal just after that. But I think the year before, I think Neil Lennon tried to sign him at Celtic. Olivier Giroud. How times could have been different.
yeah, well, he does know how to spot a player. Just quickly off the cuff, I've seen a few people mention this that Palmer might be going maybe a replacement for him. Palmer's very active on Instagram, isn't he? He likes to. He's very much. I imagine he's got "Live, Laugh, Love" written on his kitchen and and glitter. That boy, he loves a quote. He's the kind of guy that will share a picture of Tommy Shelby with a quote that Tommy Shelby did not say. Like it's like that's he's that kind of guy.
Yep.
And he'll share pictures of lost dogs that are missing in other countries and take photos of your bad parking and stick it on Facebook. He's one of those guys.
Going that way, is he? Yeah, but he's
a poor Facebook mo. That's what he is.
I think I said this to Liam a few weeks ago on the Friday feeling we were talking about him being a bit of an Instagram football, and I said, well, we as Celtic fans were always quick enough to criticise a certain Instagram footballer on the other side of the city. And just because this guy turns out for Celtic doesn't mean the rules should be any different. It's like, do your talking on the pitch. I saw the exact same quote about, he put something of some cryptic sort of clue or a cryptic dig about something, what does it kill you makes you stronger, some sort of motivational stuff like that. On the weekend after not featuring and all that. And it's like, if that's him sending messages to manager, Brendan Rodgers is, much like Ange Postecoglou before him, Brendan Rodgers is ruthless and shrewd enough to know that if you're not buying in, then you won't last very long. Palmer at times has shown that he's got something there. But yeah, if he's too concerned with the whole Instagram and Twitter and whatnot, TikTok, try to have a social media, the brand, footballers and their brand nowadays, we've got the likes of Ronaldo to thank for all that all those years ago. Then it's like, we need to talk on the pitch first. Say we criticise them across the city for the amount of times they're always mouthing off the pitch, and obviously Cantwell, with all his stuff that he does, we all laugh at it. And it's like, well, we don't want a player going down that exact same route. And if Lewis Palmer's going to do that, then it's not good to us. I think it's about time we just retire the number 7 shirt as well, because everybody that's worn it ever since Henrik, it's just been, I know that the standard was really high with Henrik, but it just feels like, what number 7 have we had since Henrik did vacate the shirt years ago that really has lived up to? Oh, he was good. I know Paddy Roberts had it for a season when he came back for the second spell on loan. And PR7, I know.
Oh, that instantly there, that was it. Ruined it. The expectation too high.
It was
PR7, mate, honestly. Stephen Rees said people are reading too much into that Palmer post. He's always posting motivational stuff on Insta. I know, that's what I'm saying. Stop it. It's annoying.
Yep.
Regardless of what you think of him, he did have the best numbers from the wing. No arguments there. He did. However, I think what I will say on that is Brendan has kind of made it clear that he doesn't specifically want one player to be racking up all the goals.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of looking for more people to contribute in other areas. We've not even had a striker score yet for us. So I think that him scoring all the goals and assists from the wing position won't trump his attitude and application and all that kind of stuff that Brendan likes. He's not getting past Maeda because of the work ethic and the press and everything that Maeda brings to the team. Like until Palmer starts, and that's not his game, so we probably will never see that as much as Brendan will maybe try and coach that into him. I don't like Palmer's got it in him to do that. There's a lot of talk of certain players don't have the fight in them to fight for that starting jersey. I just don't know if Palmer's got that in him to fight for it on the pitch. He'd rather get behind his keyboard and do it that way, which is fine. I like Palmer. Don't get me wrong, I really like him. I'd just rather try and win the jersey on the pitch and not on Instagram. Is what I would say. But Stephen, you might be right. Maybe we are thinking too much on it because he said 10 goals, 10 assists for Palmer. 10 goals and 4 assists from Maeda, 1 goal and 3 assists from Yang. Sounds like a team player to me. Yeah. This is, listen, all about debate. I shall bring it up so people can see. It's a fair point. But the manager obviously prefers what Maeda brings to the table more than maybe what Palmer brings. And Palmer will just need to figure out a way of getting himself back in that team and contributing again because he's more than capable of doing it. There's all this talk that Kyogo isn't suited for Brendan Rodgers' style of football. It could be argued that maybe Palmer also isn't. Let's move on to the next one. Speaking of wingers, Sheffield United have agreed a fee of around $2.5 million for Celtic winger Mickey Johnson. With the end of an era, Phil.
End of an era, indeed. What era is it? Tell me. I don't know how to describe it. It was an experience. It was never ending, it felt like. But is it official? Is he officially gone? Can we actually confirm that? Or does it look like
can't confirm it yet.
Yeah.
Can't confirm it yet, no.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk also about Johnston. I mentioned him on Friday night going through the sort of transfer rumours. And at that point, the Sheffield United one had came up. And obviously, Burnley had a wee nibble at the start of last week as well. And obviously, it didn't go anywhere. But I believe the Sheffield United thing is going to lead into another deal of a player coming in this direction. But for the good of the boy, he does need to move on. He has shown again that he's got something there. But unfortunately, too many injuries as well just keep on hampering. Probably his best run in the team was early on in Neil Lennon's second spell in charge in 2019. He had a good run at the start of that season, scored a really good goal in the Champions League qualifying against Sarajevo. He played in most games. I'm pretty sure he scored I think he played St Johnstone in the opening game. We beat them 7-0. I think he scored that day as well. He played at Ibrox as well in the game that Johnny Hayes and Edwards scored, and he actually set up Edwards' goal. Connor Goldson played it terribly out of defence, right to Johnson. He just threaded the ball perfectly into the path. Edward didn't have to break his stride, just put it past the goalkeeper, no problem. And he started well. But then, of course, what happens with Mikey Johnson? Injuries hit him, and it takes him out of the team. He came back later that season, and then, of course, we had the very famous. It's now, of course, become a GIF. It's became a meme. We've even got it saved on the bus. Up at St Johnstone, he goes down injured. Neil Lennon's like, look, you're coming off, and he refuses to come off. And then, of course, what happens? The injury flares up again, and he's crocked. And as he's limping off the park, Neil Lennon's just basically telling him, fuck off. And that was it. That was him done. And yeah, since then, it's just been stop, start, stop, start. I think a lot of fans want him to do well. I mean, at the end of the day, you want every player to succeed in a Celtic shirt. I think because he's came through the youth ranks, obviously a lot of fans feel like they live vicariously through him because he's living the dream, young boy that came through the ranks. But again, I've used this term a load of times, and I'll keep using it regarding the guy, Jesse Lingard syndrome. You don't want to get to the point you're 29, 30 years old, and people are still talking about the potential you've got, and it's like, look, he's 25 now, 26, he's around about there. It's like, if you're not nailing down a first-team spot at this point, you're not. He had a good run when he went down to West Brom on loan at the turn of the year. It started really well, so he can clearly cut it at championship level. Sheffield United have obviously picked up on that. And all the best to him. All the best. He'll do fine down there. He'll do absolutely fine.
No hard feelings. Yep. I think, 7 years at Celtic, I believe, in the first team picture, and it's not even hit 100 appearances yet for the club. I think it's 93. I read online. That's for 7 years, less than 100 appearances. It's very much that whole cliche of die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that's very much what's happened to Mickey Johnson. He's just been around far too long.
Yep.
And I think it's a double-edged sword because I think he's had the expectations of maybe being a bit too high for him. And how many so many chances to try again. I don't think we give many players of Mickey Johnson's ability or what he's shown in a Celtic shirt that much of a chance to shine. I didn't know, like you said, it's because it was going to be an academy player. I mean, there was clearly talent there. There was a massive expectation around him when he first sort of burst onto the scene. But like you said, there's definitely talent there, and he'll do well in the championship. But I think the shirt's just a bit too. The burden's too heavy for Mikey Johnson. I mean, he's walked away with 6 league titles, 3 Scottish Cups, and 2 League Cups. He's done all right.
Yeah.
Go and enjoy your football now, mate, because he doesn't deserve the
Yeah,
level of.
he realistically hasn't done anything wrong. What actually has he done wrong that people get really angry about? I just don't feel that he's going to cut it. But I'm not got any anger towards the boy. But there are some fans out there where you suggest his name are properly beeling about it. But yeah, the time is up. The era is over, and it's time to move on. And we wish him all the best. So
Yeah.
yes.
Well, hopefully that that move to Sheffield United does go through, and it's confirmed in ASAP, alongside the confirmation that Lagerbielke is now left and Yoki Kobayashi is also away. Celtic didn't say much about it, didn't even really let us know that he'd moved on, and but he's away. But hopefully, with Mikey Johnson moving to Sheffield United, that has opened the door for Austin Trusty. Celtic launched $5 million bid to the Sheffield United to get the Sheffield United centre back. Can also play left back, but I think he would be bought with all intents and purposes to play as a starting left-sided centre half. According to Sky Sports News reporter Anthony Joseph, Vegan's best pal, Celtic have made a bid worth $5 million. He's praised by the former Birmingham City teammate George Friend as an incredible player. Trusty was a regular for Sheffield United last season, and what turned out to be a disastrous Premier League campaign for the Blades. However, Trusty has shown during his time in English football that he has the quality to impress at the back, and Celtic could be an ideal next destination for the United States international if Sheffield United accept Celtic's offer. And although the defender's time at Sheffield United has not gone to plan, a change of scenery could be all it takes for Trusty to reach his true potential, with Celtic an ideal club for Trusty to develop, and it would be obviously beside his international teammate Cameron Carter-Vickers, who you could put him under his wing there and just say, look, I didn't have the greatest time at Bournemouth and Tottenham, and I've managed to become an absolute fan hero, an absolute giant for Celtic Football Club at the back, and there's no reason as to why you couldn't as well. I mean, I don't know if they've ever played together internationally at the same time, but I mean, I'm quite happy for this boy to come in. I mean, he got his move to the Premier League. I don't know if he was with Sheffield United before they got promoted, or if he was signed after they were promoted, but great experience playing in the Premier League. It might not have went to plan, and it was an absolute disaster for Sheffield United. There's no getting away for that. However, you can't put all the blame on him. Maybe just a bit of a bridge too far for Sheffield United to get promoted that year. But I'm not going to lie, Phil. I don't know anything much about him other than the fact that he was playing in the Premier League last year. But clean slate for him if he comes in to Celtic. Like I said, proof's in the pudding with Cameron Carter-Vickers. It's not out of the realms possibility that he could be the next Cameron Carter-Vickers for us this season.
I always say, David, I always judge a player once I see them pull on the hoops and play for us, what they've done in the past. By this, you've got inherent risk with every type of signing. Shane Duffy was an established Premier League defender with Brighton, stayed up many seasons, did absolutely fine for them, came up to us, and it was an absolute disaster. Obviously, this boy Trusty's been playing in Sheffield United last season. They've had a shocker of a season, let's be honest. They've went down. But I even said on Friday night when I mentioned them, I said, remember one Scott Sinclair? He got relegated with Aston Villa in 2016 and signed for us that summer. He did all right. So I say I wouldn't read too much into the fact that he was part of that team, because there's the key word there, team. The team effort. He's not the sole reason why they went down. There was a lot of problems at Sheffield United last season. And it makes sense for me. If Mikey Johnson's going one way, then we should try and make this work. It makes, we're in for this player, clearly. Seems like there's interest there. So they should be getting round the table with Sheffield United and trying to work something out involving MJ and Cash going to them. And the fact that he's obviously, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think he's played that much in the USA team alongside Carter Vickers, because from what I gather, Carter Vickers, when you ever see American soccer fans on Twitter talking about him, and actually they don't seem to rate him that highly. Obviously, we think he's an absolute, absolute monster at the back for us. He's been a stalwart of the team for the last 3 and a bit years or whatever. So he's been great for us. But it seems whenever he plays for the USA, he doesn't get much game time, and when he does play, it never certainly goes well for him. So I don't know how much him and Trusty have played together, but yeah, I would think that they've obviously been in international squads together, so there will be a bit of camaraderie there, and it does make perfect sense that he's coming in to be that left side, the centre back, because we have to have better than Scales. Scales has obviously he's done a job, no doubt about it. And remember, the boy wasn't asked. He was thrown into this position a year ago, and he's done well. But we do need to have better, especially what we're up against this season, with all the competitions we're going to be playing in, and obviously that Champions League as well. And also, Alistair Jack said that Trusty dropped a clue on his Instagram. Alistair, come back and tell us what that clue was, because I don't use Instagram, so I don't know. What was the clue?
Palmer does.
Palmer does, but
tell us.
Was it a good type of clue, Alistair, or was it one where he was basically nonsensing that he's coming to Celtic, or did he actually say that he is coming to Celtic? Is there a clue there? So yeah, let us know, Alistair. Please give us a scoop, mate.
Well, you're asking where he is. He's joined us at
last. How are we doing, Rob?
Doing good, Regan. How was the film? Was it good, mate? You enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. We've got a couple of stories left to go through, so we will crack on with them. We were just talking about Trusty, mate. Whether he's going to come in or not. A player that's looking like he won't be coming in is Gustav Isaacson. And that deal looks like it's off the table. The winger had reportedly told Lazio that he wants to remain at the club despite the Italians being open to a deal with Celtic. Rodgers' side have shown an interest in a loan deal with an obligation to buy for the Danish international as Scottish Premiership champions gear up for their business in the final days of the window. Will not stay on this topic very long. The player's made it clear that he wants to stay and fight for his shirt. An obligation to buy price was talked around £14 million. I don't know if we would have went in for that anyway. Regan, I'll go to you with that one. But I mean, he was the top goal scorer in the Norwegian League last year, I believe. Certainly before he moved.
Oh wow! I was going to just quickly cut in and just say a few people are now saying that O'Reilly has went off injured for Brighton after a matter of minutes. Oh boy! Dear. Delighted with that investment.
O'Reilly in tears.
Not a problem anymore.
No receipts. I'm sorry. No refunds.
Yep.
Oh dear. I mean, that's a shame for the boy.
Sometimes they'll say O'Reilly is in tears. Is it that bad an injury? Oh my God!
Oh.
Jesus. The thing is, I went and flagged on Sky there, but Everton and Doncaster's on and Fulham
and
Birmingham's on.
Tackle was a shocker, according to Stephen Ray.
Oh.
Literally in tears. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Well dear. Welcome to Brighton. Right, anyway, I mean, that's unfortunate, but like I said, it's no longer our player to discuss. I hope everything's all right. Oh, Regan's... All right,
I think he was getting a phone call there, and that was his ringtone going off. That's what that was.
Well, breaking news will be coming in soon.
That might be, by the way. It could be like his pal, Anthony Joseph, or something like that, giving him a wee call, giving him a scoop. When's Engels going to sign? At what time? On what day is he going to sign?
Nah, maybe it's the postie.
Maybe it is, aye. I turned up with his shot. That'd be nice if they did.
That would be nice, aye. Well, it's been sent.
Yeah. But no, that's grim news about Matt O'Reilly. See, in terms of it's unfortunately not our problem anymore. But Brighton, they'll be like, Christ, just spent all this money on the guy, and it looks like it's that bad a tackle.
I'll be all over Twitter, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Right, getting a money back guarantee. Have you had an accident at work that wasn't your fault? Regan, come here.
There is a claim.
Sorry, David, I was just getting a phone call there.
Right,
Anthony
go on.
Joseph.
Was it Anthony Joseph, mate? Go on then. Give us a spill the beans.
Peter Lawwell.
Peter Lawwell.
I was everything.
Tell you to calm down, Regan.
Regan. Calm down.
Tell me to calm down, aye. No, but I didn't get any phone calls of Brendan Rodgers in that press conference, but no, David, I'm looking forward to this week because the transfer business should be good. I think there'll be quite a lot of business being done. So no, I'm pretty happy.
I should fucking hope so. We've been going through plenty of names tonight, and I'd like to see some of them come in. That's for sure. But aye, what's your thoughts on that boy that no wanting to come in league and just he wants to fight for his place, but I don't see it. I couldn't see us spending £14 million on him on an obligation to buy anyway.
No, I think Celtic were doing their best not to pay 9 million for Ed for Adamida. That's why it took so long. But I don't think they'll be spending 14 million on a player, David. But what I do expect is I expect Palmer to go. I expect somebody to be brought in.
Yeah, but we were discussing Palma earlier briefly. If we did, because a few people in the comments agree with you, Regan, that he could be on his way out. I mean, I would be a bit surprised at that, like for him to go right away. But if they've got somebody in mind coming in, perhaps a Jota. Been seeing a lot of that tonight. So one particular account is very confident of that coming in. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
not.
the name on the account is Ronnie Dyler. Is Ronnie get the inside scoop? Aye,
Ronnie.
Yeah, I've seen him doing the rounds on Twitter. This guy, I think he's a bit of a wind up.
David,
So.
Aye, I know. I saw that.
I just want to let people know it's no me. It's no me. So.
Oh.
I'm the Ronnie Dyler now.
No, not you. Okay. I think that same.
No, you're slow Sky Sports
like,
News.
Done deal. Yep.
It's Regan's burner account's that slow Sky Sports News. That's definitely you, Regan. Definitely comes in with stories at 2 a.m. that were broke about 4 hours before. You get woken up by messages for Regan. Breaking news! About 4 hours ago, Regan. Right, I saw this one article. It didn't seem a lot being tweeted about, so it could be totally nonsense. But I'm going to bring it up anyway. Celtic are apparently keen on signing Josip Brkalo on loan. He's also a winger. He's the Croatian. Spent half the season on loan at Hajduk Split and has returned to Fiorentina, where he has been on the bench for the first 2 Serie A games. Celtic are said to carry an interest in Brkalo, but there is lingering threat that other Serie A clubs are also keen on a 26-year-old who is likely to depart Fiorentina this season. He only scored once in 30 games last year. And he did score twice during his loan spell at Hajduk Split last season. So the numbers aren't great. He is apparently a winger. I've not seen the name being mentioned online at all, or even anybody in the chat tonight. Serie A winger. I mean, you know much about him, Regan?
No, I think I'd be lying, Dave, if I said I knew a lot about him. But hopefully Brendan Rodgers says we've not got too many wingers again. But I just hope that hopefully because he's from Serie A, David, he'll be of a reputable standard, and he'll be somebody that Brendan Rodgers fully trusts. Because I think one of the big things that he's not really enamoured by Lewis Palmer about, David, is the fact that he's not got much pace. And I think that's something that if you've watched Brendan Rodgers' team in the first 5 or 6 matches, I think the pace of the team's been absolutely brilliant. I think that's why you've not seen as much of Lewis Palmer. I think somebody who's been really good, who broke on the scene last year, at the end of the season to do very well, is James Forrest. I think he's done really well, and he's proven again this season that he'll probably be a vital part. But I think, like I said before, I think Brendan just wants that pressure on players that he sees. I always go back to Scott Sinclair and James Forrest, where James Forrest needed to up his match level, and then Brendan Rodgers went, "No, I'm going to bring in Paddy Roberts to make it even harder." It's those kind of levels that we want to get back to, so that when say that James Forrest plays in Scotland, and then this guy can hopefully slot in the Champions League, and then there's no kind of drop off in the team. I think that's what Brendan Rodgers mentioned in Sunday. I think it was the Sky Sports report that said, "Oh, you don't really need to add because you're doing well." But Brendan Rodgers says that's because they've got 10 days to prepare for the match. But see, because you've got more matches to play in Champions League, you've got, I think it's 8 matches you're playing now in Champions League. You've also got the Viaplay Cup. You've got the Scottish Cup. So you've got so many matches to play, David. So I think we're going to need a big squad.
Definitely, mate. And that brings me to the last story of that I saw over the last day or two. It's already been rubbished by the club, Phil. But you never know. You never know with football. Obviously, Odsonne Edouard has been linked again with the club, with Arsenal agreeing to sell
Eddie
Eddie
Nketiah, who, by the way, for years I've thought would have been a decent player to get on loan at Celtic.
I think he would have done all right up here, because he's no good enough for Arsenal's level, that team that's chasing the Premier League. But Nketiah would probably have been all right. I thought that about him as well for quite a while.
I've always thought he would have been, but anyway, he's going to Crystal Palace, which then obviously means that looks like Odsonne Edouard has had a torrid time at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I'm trying to smart too much. There's a couple of media outlets linking him back to Celtic. A bit of lazy journalism, but I mean, it certainly sparked up a debate again on Twitter whether he would be the right player to come back to Celtic. A lot of people say no, we don't look back, we want to look forward, unless it's Jota, and others obviously have said about him chucking him down in tools, and Eddie can bounce San Francisco Celtics.
David, I just want to comment on that. I mean, Odsonne Edouard's a guy that won is the quadruple treble, the treble the first time Brendan Rodgers was here. He won a treble for Neil Lennon when everybody didn't want Neil Lennon to be the manager. That's a guy that's done so many big moments. So I don't understand the actual disrespect that he gets. All because of what.
Sorry.
And he also scored in probably Celtic's last big match in Europe when they beat RB Leipzig. He was also part of the team that won in Rome in Stadio Olimpico. He set up one of the goals. I just don't understand that. I just don't get it for me.
I think there's two. I think people remember that season totally differently to each other. I think that's the thing. I mean, I can't even remember. It was that fucking awful. I try not to remember it. But some people just remember that he scored 22 goals that season. Other people remember him down in tools. I'm using the Neil Lennon inverted commas because I don't agree that he down tools. From my memory, he was still by far our top goal scorer that year. And yes, okay, he had hat tricks against Hamilton Accies, but I mean, at the end of the day, whether it was Hamilton Accies or Hibernian or fucking Hearts, it's the league, it's teams that we faced in the league that year. It wasn't Edouard that was shipping goals left, right, and centre. He did his job, I felt. Could you have done it to the best, with a wee bit more enthusiasm? Maybe, Phil, but he always kind of had that nonchalant sort of always almost like effortless, couldn't be arsed persona, people might say, which is all fine and well when you're winning things, but as soon as we start to lose, it then his demeanour became an issue for people. But I can understand why people don't want Edouard coming back, and I think Phil, I've said it right at the start of this conversation, it's been rubbished by the club from what I've heard. But any last words on Odsonne Edouard before we go?
Last words on it. I pretty much echo you. I mean, the three of us have all got a sort of common sort of train of thought on Edouard. We're not in the camp of him down in tools, and we're very happy with what he contributed to the club over the time. The 10 in a row season was a disaster, but think about how things have went since then. I think I'm quite happy with how things have turned out. I mean, the 10 in a row isn't really the be all and end all. The 10 title, realistically, who outside Scotland would actually acknowledge that as a great thing. I know there's teams in other countries, like Bayern Munich won like 13 titles in a row, and the Bundesliga 12, 13 or whatever. It'd be a personal record for us to have in Scotland, but ultimately what we've achieved since then and the way things have went, we've bounced right back, despite the fact Rangers fans still crow about how losing 10 in a row broke us. If this is us broke, then I don't want to be fixed, really, if that's the case. We've absolutely stormed it. A double, then a treble, and then another double. We've now got 8 trebles to our name, which is a world record, I think. And if you're one of those ones that does count trophy hauls, and we know that the team in blue across the city do like to count trophy hauls, and they do like to acknowledge themselves as the most successful team in the world. So they have set the benchmark for this accolade, that they have made this up. So they currently say that with 118 trophies, that they are the most successful team in the world. But I think you'll find that Celtic are on 118 trophies. So that means the next trophy that Celtic win, would that mean that Rangers would have to acknowledge us as the most successful team in the world? So realistically, losing it to 10 in a row, I think it's went pretty well since then. As for Edouard, in that case, scored. You're right what you're just saying about him scoring against Hamilton and whatnot. Rangers had to pull those same teams as well that season. Whatever. It's not his fault that Shane Duffy and Laxalt and Ajer and stuff couldn't defend, and that Barkas had hologram hands, and that we changed the goalkeeper every couple of weeks, and Neil Lennon was just
season, Phil.
Neil Lennon was having an absolute breakdown right in front of our eyes. The government were going to war with us every single week. I mean, this you go on and on about this. In fact, I did a Bustalgia episode on this disaster season. You can check that out if you like. If you want to get some fresh memories back, you can.
Oh, please don't, Bill. Please don't.
He's a quality player. He is a quality player. Will he come back? I think he'll hang out for a money move, and I think he'll get it at the end.
He'll go to Saudi.
I think Brendan Rodgers even said, like, even though he wants 3 strikers, that's what he's made that clear. He wants they 3 would be deemed 3 first-team strikers. He wants like Ida, Kyogo, guys he can rotate, and then a third one is like a one that can be developed. Austin Edouard is at the point where you don't bring him into development. He's a quality player, no doubt about it. And I say I love him for what he did. I thought he was cool hand look, just the way that I talked earlier on about a game we won at Ibrox when Mikey Johnson set him up. That finished that day. The fear yeah, like Johnson threaded the foot him, and even before he's hit it, you knew where it was going before he got there. The Rangers players, the Rangers fans do that enough. They feel Johnny Hayscott. Aye. So quality player. I don't think it will happen. But yeah, I don't hold any grudges against him at all. But I understand that other people have got different perceptions, and it is what it is, man. But I do think that the hostility, there's a lot of snarkiness. Like, I know us 3 have been, kind of like positive, but I do feel that the pushback that we've had, it can be done in a bit more constructive manner at times. And we recently get snapped at a lot with our opinion on that one, don't we, David? To say the least. So I do think that it could be a bit more level-headed, I think, at times, because we're all entitled to our own opinions on that one. But it does seem like whenever we bring up Edouard as an option, it seems that we get shot down pretty quickly by some folk. So I do think that, we that level head. We're all Celtic fans at the end of the day. We're all pulling in the same direction, but there does seem to be a bit of a, like, man, we're entitled to our own opinions, as are they. So there you go. That's my final word on it.
There we go. Right, before we go, Regan, I was asked this question. Well, in fact, I was threatened, by 420 somewhere. I started it so you could see it, Regan. He said, Regan better be sporting that new away top tonight, David. Now, Regan should be sporting that away top because I bought it and I sent it to you with a paid for the next day delivery. But anything to do with Adam Ida with Celtic, he's away again. Oh, bye then, Regan. Maybe he's away to check his. Maybe
it's arrived. Maybe the postman's literally just arrived at a second.
Yeah, well, I mean, I checked it. So, like I said, it was sent Hello.
There he is.
There he is again.
Hello, David.
Hello, Regan. You disappeared on me, mate, when I was having a wee heart with you.
No, I can still see you and hear you, but it was just someone was dropping something off of me. So.
Okay, fair enough. So I checked the Shopify thing, and it says that it's just been processed, and I'm like, right, well, I'll be wanting my refund on the old next day delivery. So it's on its way to you.
It's still not here yet, David.
I know, mate. I know. I can.
Okay.
I'll be on the phone to Peter Lawwell, and he'll be telling me he'll be telling me to calm down. Calm down. It's on its way. But aye, so it's a bit annoying. But I was kind of hoping you'd have had it today, but you've no. But there you go. Have you set order placed?
I might pop on Friday and have it on.
It better be fucking there. I'll be alright. I'll be like, where the fuck is it? Give me my £5 back. my deposit. my next day delivery. Postie's nicked it. Aye. But there you go. Right. We've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. Regan should have been on for the whole thing, but he was watching Deadpool.
Deadpool v Wolverine. Quickly before we go, who do you want? Not all the teams you want in the Champions League draw, but who's a team that you really want to get in Thursday's draw? Regan.
Liverpool.
Liverpool. David, who's a team that you really want to get?
Oh, any English side. Aston Villa would be good.
I've got Aston Villa as well, because see the Liverpools and the Arsenals, their fans are just kind of sterile to the Champions League, but see, because Villa are in it for the first time, their fans will be right up for it. It'll be a proper, and I think the players will be up for it because this is a new adventure for them. I think it'll be a proper battle. I'm not saying that Villa are a beatable team. They're obviously very, very good under Unai Emery, but yeah, I'd like to see us get Aston Villa. I think for the novelty of it and them being new to the Champions League, and I say it'll be a new adventure for fans and whatnot. So there'll be a good atmosphere at it. I think if we were playing Man City, as we know, they're notorious for bad atmosphere down at the Etihad. But I think if we got a trip to Villa Park, I think it'd be a proper fiery night. Or if they came up to Celtic Park, I think it would be quite a thunderous atmosphere as well. And that's not me doing the whole touristy thing. I think it'd be a proper battle with that one. So yeah, I've got Villa down as well, but we'll see what this AI throws up on Thursday. I still can't get my head around how they're going to drag it out for an hour-long TV show of AI picking teams, but there you go. We'll see come Thursday.
It's going to be fun, regardless. Hopefully. But if we're going to sign all these players, then I'm sure they'll bump up the prices for the tickets. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's us.
Have you guys got a magic number that we want to hit by Friday for Celtic signings?
Oh, 4.
4 is minimum of 4. Minimum.
Come on, Regan. What do you know? Who's told you what? How many are coming in, mate? Come on.
I think 5. I do.
Come on, he knows. He fucking knows. He's sitting there saying, "Oh, I think it's 5." You fucking know it's 5.
You know it's 5. Yeah. August 15th. Yeah. He knows.
He knows. You're not getting anything else out of me. Right.
Well, an exciting few days ahead, according to the prophet Regan Stevenson, everybody. So stay tuned.
Will be good.
Let's finish on a positive note. Who cares? We'll get
true.
Anyway. You're probably right. You're probably right. We can dream though. Anyway, I'll be your Tuesday ticket. If I'm free on Friday, Phil, I'll maybe jump on and get my yellow tie out the bin. I'll need to go look for it.
It's going to be quite a show, by the way. It sounds like there's going to be a whole committee. We need to have rotating substitutes on Friday night at this rate, the way things are going. Everybody's wanting, so we'll sort it. I mean, we might have to do a 2-hour show on Friday.
Listen, Phil does the Friday show every Friday. Every Friday. So you got to make sure that you are on the bus for Friday, because it'll be a special Friday feeling that Phil does every Friday at 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock you do still, Phil, yeah?
9 o'clock. The bus has always been consistent. Friday night.
You've got your bus timetable.
Yes. First, it was a double down show, then it was Bustalgia, and now it's the Friday feeling. But the bus has always had Friday 9 o'clock. Now, nobody owns a specific time or a slot, but we have been very consistent in that one. So, yes, we shall be on at 9 o'clock on Friday. I believe the window shuts at 11, so we might stretch it out to 2 hours. We probably will, to be fair.
Isn't it 12 in Scotland?
I don't know, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, who knows? We'll find out.
I think it's 12 for Scotland, but...
We'll by the time we get to 11, I think we'll have a rough idea if anything else is going to happen. We'll play it by ear on that one.
By before then. We should
be sitting at 11:30 at night going, God, where's all the players? But anyway, we'll deal with that one. We'll play it by ear, and yeah, I'll be around on Friday. But there'll be a TNF before that as well, because Russell and Mark will be on. And I think the Champions League draw will be going on about the same time, so they'll give you a live reaction to that one. So that should be interesting. But yeah, we shall head off, guys. We've done an hour and 15, so I guess we can.
Yeah, going to go get my tea.
Yeah, right, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, we'll catch you later. All the best,
folks.
Cheers.